Hi everyone, my name is Taryn Regals, and my husband Adam and I call Mitchell, South Dakota home. We actually both grew up here and went to school together and went to college about 2 hours away. And a year and a half ago, we moved home, which is something we never thought we would do. So we're back in Mitchell. A little bit about Mitchell. Mitchell is a town of about 15,000 people, and it's located on a major interstate that runs through South Dakota and is home to the world's only corn palace, as well as a small United Methodist college called Dakota Wesleyan University. Um, I work at a United Methodist church called Fusion Church as a director of ministries, which is basically like an associate pastor slash executive pastor without the pastoral title. A couple things that are interesting about my ministry context is that we meet on Dakota Wesleyan's campus for our Sunday services. So the church's mission is to reach the college community as well as the greater Mitchell community. And it's actually a relatively new church. It's about 7 years old and was planted with the intent of being a resource and a refuge for college students. So we don't have our own building. My office is a reformed closet. It's definitely a little bit of a different context than what I'm used to, and also the United Methodist denomination is slightly different than what I'm used to. My family went to a United Methodist church in high school, but I would say that my roots are primarily Wesleyan because we didn't grow up in a Christian home. We didn't go to church. I did not know hardly anything about God or the gospel or who this Jesus guy was. And so I actually started attending church with a friend who invited me to her youth group at a church called Mitchell Wesleyan. And that's kind of really where everything got started as far as my faith. And actually what spurred my family into finding a church as well was getting invited to a youth group. And like I said, my family ended up at a United Methodist church. But I really resonated with the Wesleyan youth group and have kind of been a part of the Wesleyan church ever since. I went to a Wesleyan church in college and was on staff at a Wesleyan church for a couple years. And so coming back to this United Methodist church plant is something that was a little bit different for me, for sure, and something I'm still navigating as far as working at a Methodist church and having some pretty strong ties to the Wesleyan denomination as well, and going to a Wesleyan seminary right now as well. I've talked a little bit about my church experience, but the majority of my spiritual formation happened kind of in two stages, I would say. The first is with that youth group that I was a part of. That was like I said, when I started going there, I didn't even know the story of Jesus dying on the cross. And so that was a time of asking a lot of questions and really just like learning those basic Bible stories that I didn't know. Just kind of learning the basics and learning a lot. I remember specifically learning a lot about what it meant to sacrifice yourself and submit yourself to God. And so that's probably where most of my spiritual formation happened. Another big chunk of it happened in college. I was a part of a couple different ministries in college. One was Navigators, which was a parachurch ministry. And I learned a lot about how to dig into scripture and a lot of inductive Bible studies type stuff. And I also learned about the power of vulnerability in group settings, being a part of small groups and that sort of thing in college. The second ministry I was a part of in college was at Grace Point Wesleyan Church, and I learned a lot about being a part of other people's spiritual formation as well, volunteering in a youth group, being on a college leadership team, and eventually being on staff there. And just kind of learning what it looks like to grow spiritually alongside other people as you're leading other people as well. I'm kind of in an interesting place right now that my spiritual formation process hasn't really been with a congregation as of late. We don't really have small groups at the church that I'm at. Spiritual formation is something that is definitely lacking currently in my ministry context. So I'm really excited to learn more about it and kind of figure out how to implement some of these things in our church. A lot of my current spiritual formation happens through seminary classes here at Wesley Seminary, personal disciplines, and meeting with a mentor. So, yeah, that's, I guess, a quick synopsis. I'm really looking forward to this class, and I think it will be interesting to get to apply some of these things in my context.